This article was published in the International Journal of Science Education, Part B, and the work was developed with my colleagues Elena Milani, Emma Whitecamp, and Andy Ridgway, and is a result of a project called Rethink. Rethink was a Horizon 2020 funded project examining the working practices of actors communicating science, technology and/or health in 7 countries. These countries were Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Serbia, Sweden and the UK. In this article, we explored 2 research questions. The first question was, does the country in which a science communicator is located relate to their ascribed motivations and deterrents for science, technology and/or health communication? And the second question was, how do the motivations and deterrents for science communication vary based on a communicator's role? These questions were a result of our interest in the increased drivers for science communication, be those drivers social, scientific or political. However, our questions were also influenced by the design of our research, which not only took a broad approach to its conceptualisation of science communicators to include researchers, curators, journalists, influencers and more, or actors as we term them in the study, but it was also research which provided the opportunity to examine motivations and deterrents beyond the scope of an individual country and their science communication settings. Turning now to our methods, an online questionnaire was used to investigate the working practices of science communication actors communicating science, technology and/or health in the 7 countries we focused on. Our survey was completed by 465 participants and covered different aspects of those communicators' activities, including the types of topics they communicated and why, the actual content that they communicated, their communication practices, as well as the motivations and barriers that actors thought about when they were carrying out science communication. Our findings suggest that personal enthusiasm to communicate about science, technology or health remains a highly motivating factor amongst communicators, combined often with a desire to educate. This sits alongside an understandably instrumental factor in that for many of our respondents, 85% worked for organisations, so it simply formed part of their job role. We found little variation in motivations amongst countries, despite expectations that science communication may have differing national contexts. We also found that many of the incentives to communicate were shared across the different types of roles that people had. Amongst academic, media, practitioner and policy roles, enthusiasm for their subject area, a desire to educate and counter misinformation were all prominent drivers. Though motivations were often similar across different national boundaries, barriers appeared sometimes to be slightly more nationally specific. Time was the main feature shared across actors in all nations. Resources and the ability to involve others were also often shared issues. And though many of the motivations were comparable across the different actor roles, more differences were apparent in considering the potential deterrents. Time, again, lack of resources and lack of reward and recognition were common features, with institutional support, including the difficulty in getting others, such as other researchers, involved in communication work, also an identified barrier. In summary, our work suggests a complex ecosystem of science communicators is evolving, and further research may helpfully unpick how some actors' roles may complement and contradict the motivations of different actors, as well as potentially influence others. Weaknesses in our research included a focus only on a select number of European countries, and the way that we posed some of our questions may have encouraged participants to think more about one-way styles of communication rather than engagement, dialogue, or collaboratively based models. We also conducted this survey work in 2019, so pre any influences of COVID. In this sense, though, it does form a good foundation to repeat similar survey work in future, both in the same countries and also potentially a greater range of countries as well, with the questionnaire now available as supplementary material.